Hey, you, right there. Do you want to go on an adventure? Adventure is something many enjoy, as you never know what may come your way. There could be treasures to be had, friends to be made, and enemies to face. An adventure can be scary or mysterious. No matter how you take it, there's always going to be some risk involved, possibly good, possibly bad. But no matter how long it may take, you never know how the experience may make us grow. But does developer Polyarch bring the adventure and remaster it in the best way possible? Let's find out with Moss for PlayStation VR2. Moss is a single-player action-adventure puzzle game from Polyarch, tailor-made for PlayStation VR2. It takes classic components of a great game with compelling characters, gripping combat, captivating world exploration, and combines them with the exciting opportunities of virtual reality. But before you start your adventure and try to wreak havoc, because you know you would, there are a few things that you should be aware of. First, find the best place to sit. There is no need to stand. In the very beginning, you are told this is a sitting experience. Second, make sure you have some arm space, as you will be reaching out for things. Second, make sure those sense controllers are charged. You don't want to come face or across something or try to jump the land and something causes you,
her uncle often warned,
to fail.
when danger was most present. But Quill
And your controllers died because you
creatures
forgot to charge them. Fourth, I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone. And finally, have some fun. With all that said, let's continue. You may be familiar with Moss and Quill, and for those that may not be, you play as a reader who helps the small hero with a big heart named Quill. Quill is a mouse who is on a quest to save her kingdom and everyone in it against evil. You will come across challenging puzzles to get to different parts of the area, as you may need to get to levers, open doors, or retrieve scrolls, among other things. But Polyarch has done something special here and used the PlayStation VR2 features in the best way possible. With the PlayStation VR version, use the DualShock controller. Not a bad way to play, but using the Sense controllers just really feels more natural. The puzzles, where I, as a reader and helping Quill, made the moving platforms that much easier to help. We also have amazing eye tracking that when you look at objects, they start to light up. Plus, Quill can tell you
I'm looking for the
where you're looking, and you never know, she may offer some help in return. But when you use your weapons to break boxes and pots, depending on how much force is used, the adaptive triggers respond nicely.
Seemingly oblivious to Quill,
We also
he continued.
improved on the haptics. If Quill gets hit, you're going to feel it in the headset,
Fancy test.
which just adds to the experience.
Deeper grave with roots of Vader.
But as amazing as all these features are, I think seeing the world of Moss might be the greatest feature. When I first started Moss for the PlayStation VR2, I could immediately see the 4K visual improvements that were made. From the environments in the hall, while the story was unfolding, to the characters you come across, to even just the water everything is as beautiful as can be. Part of the fun is the puzzles, which are not overly complicated, but you may just need to think about some of them a little more than others. Some may require where you need to grab one enemy to hold them in a certain spot, or there could be puzzles or statues and blocks may need to be moved around in order to progress. Just remember, even though Quill has the strength to fight against enemies who may be bigger, she is still a mouse and cannot swim. So be careful next to water, as you don't want to fall in. Earlier I talked about using the sense controllers. There is something about the freedom of separate controllers that makes a game like Moss more enjoyable to play, from the action of every time Quill is using her weapon, to even when you get to interact within the world, to even fist bumping Quill. Just really feels like this is how Moss was meant to be played. But there is something else about the haptics I wanted to mention, and that's when you're in the hall and having the book open and seeing the progression of the story. And when it's time to get back to the action, the book turns white, and the haptics from the sense controllers and the headset,
the reader has chosen its hero.
And it starts to feel like an episode of the original Quantum Leap.
Frost of finality and vanished into the shadows.
And then you have Leap to the next chapter. And that really should be experienced. Let's talk about the graphics and sound. I know I already mentioned how well the game looks, but it's true. There were times when I was just looking at the water, or just the detail of the world around me, including the stars. And it just shows how well of a headset the PlayStation VR2 is when you have a game like Moss to show it off. With the sounds here in the world come alive. From the crickets as to the background essence. Even hearing Quill climb things, and depending on what she is climbing around on, the sounds would be different when you would expect them to sound. The soundtrack from Jason Graves is one of those soundtracks that you can listen to even when you're not playing, and that says something. When you add that on in with a good headset such as the Pulse 3 audio headset, your ears are truly going to be on an audio adventure. If there is anything I would love to see, it's just more time, as so many more adventures can be told, and Quill is a perfect hero for this world. And after playing on PlayStation VR2, at least for me, left me wanting more, as this is the definitive version to play. Moss really does have something for everyone. Adventure, narration, characters, puzzles, music, and friendship. We sometimes get to meet those that inspire us to become a better version of ourselves, but sometimes we are those that inspire others without even realizing it. If we believe with our hearts, then we can overcome any challenge we encounter, no matter how small it may feel.